lots of fascinating issues, and I know it comes a little bit from your dream life, but obviously much more than that. So I'll give you a softball question at first. What does it mean to be human?
Well, yeah, I don't know. You know, philosophers spend 2,000 years around this question about what is it to be human, what is the soul, what is... So I'm not going to give an answer in an hour and a half in a movie. This would be, you know, very pretentious of me. But I think at least you can raise questions about what makes us human. You know, what are the things in the soul and in the human spirit that makes our condition so special, you know. And I'm quite pessimistic in my philosophical choices, and I think what makes us human and the human condition is pretty dreadful, because we know about our finitude. We have the consciousness of our mortality. So once you have that equation on the table, it makes life pretty difficult to live.
So our souls and our little chickpeas don't live on beyond us?
Well, I don't know. That's another big question.
3,000 years of religion has been trying to answer that.
I know, but you do address it, and certainly the film is inspired by a little bit of Jungian philosophy in there. So you do have a take on it.
Yeah. Well, the film doesn't say what happened to the soul. You know, when this Russian worker commits suicide and her soul, Paul is wondering where did her soul go, and I don't give the answer because I don't know. I don't know what happened to the soul. I wish, you know, we could think it's immortal. I don't know. But I'm influenced by a lot of Greek philosophy and psychoanalysis, and so it's interesting to think that there is, you know, a hope, and but maybe I'm a bit pessimistic to think about the immortality of the soul. I don't know.
Well, Jung would tell us that that people have started to look at therapists like priests, essentially, and that we shouldn't try to find that kind of salvation in that.
Yeah.
So where is, since you are a bit pessimistic, where is the hope in the world? Is it in the arts? Do you find it in the arts?
I found a lot of catharsis in the arts. I think if the arts didn't exist, our life would be pretty restricted. If only the neocortex and the rational part of the brain was ruling the human life, I think it would be a pretty sad place to live. And arts at least give you, you know, a sort of, for me it gives meaning to life. But I think, you know, even the most absurdist or pessimistic philosophers like Albert Camus, that built a whole philosophy on absurdism and like not nihilism, but like a very dark perception of humanity, they always found a way to say, you know, these are the rules of the games, and if you decide to play the game and not commit suicide and live life, you have to live it fully. And that's where the hope comes, that every day you live your life as fully as possible and create. I think creation is something that gives you, you know, another take on humanity and the potential of the richness and the beautiful aspect of humanity. So you could be a pessimist, but you could still, I think, be hopeful.
Well, if you're cynical, you have to be an idealist on the flip
exactly.
side, right? You have to know what could be in order for it to be that screwed up.
Yeah, and you know, at the end they say, like in Greek philosophy, they say living is to learning how to die. And have this wisdom that you develop. Maybe life is just this long journey, and little by little you develop this sense of detachment that, you know, you're gonna die and you have to be prepared for that moment without having mad hopes that you're gonna be immortal or, I don't know.
Well, if life is learning how to die, I'm an F student right now.
I see my feet. I see my feet. How do I know they're mine?
Paul, what is going on with you?
You want to take a break, Paul?
I have this throb in my stomach. I have a pain in my chest, like somebody put my heart in a vice and just tightened it.
Things have been pretty strange around here recently.
I feel stuck. Is your soul weighing you down? I wasn't quite sure about the services provided.
We only offer the possibility to de-soul the body or disembody the soul. Believe me, when you get rid of the soul, everything makes so much more sense.
Good luck. How are you feeling?
Well, maybe lighter. Yeah, light. The first few days were fine.
Are you sick?
No, just the usual stuff. sick as a dog. I can't make love to my wife.
You smell different, feel different.
I can't feel a thing. Nothing. I can't feel anything. I just want my soul back.
This has never happened before. We probably shipped it to our New Jersey warehouse.
Oh, God. How did we get to this point?
This is a serious business, soul trafficking.
You know where it is.
Your soul is in Russia.
What?
We thought we were getting Al Pacino's soul.
Well, I'm really very sorry that things didn't work out with Al Pacino. When did my life become so complicated? Oh, God.
I'm curious, Andre, as a cinematographer, you are constantly, looking through the lens and trying to, you're watching actors capture soulfulness on screen. Can you sense it when somebody has it or doesn't have it, when they've captured it or not?
I mean, Paul for me has it all the time. I think Paul is a tremendous soul as an actor and as a human being. He has that depth that I think he brings to all of his characters. And so when we shoot Paul, it's always there. We don't really have to find it. Other actors, it's a little bit more difficult. But it's hard to say. I mean, it's what the camera does and what Paul brings to the camera. There's some magic that happens in there. It's difficult to say that the camera's seeking the actor's soul, or maybe it's sucking it out of them somehow.
But they're naked in front of the camera.
But sometimes it definitely works.
You leave at least 5%.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sounds like good of you. One of the challenges of the movie seems to be that you have Paul Giamatti's character who goes in for this operation to have his soul removed at some point. And for such a soulful actor, and I agree with you completely, playing soulless must have been incredibly difficult. I mean, how do you direct soulless?
Well, that's a very funny thing, because Paul argues that in all the interviews we're doing together that the soulless Vanya was the easiest thing for him because he knew how to be soulless, and the soulful Vanya was the challenge because he didn't think he could pull it off. But I think he's being humble and modest. I think he did this thing that completely surprised me. He did the kind of William Shatner impersonation of Vanya, and he came up with that. And I think Russell Crowe had this very funny thing saying that they should make a sports car called the Giamatti. And I think it's true, because when you direct him, he's like a Ferrari. He's like this amazing sports car. You just shift a little bit and he gives you this amazing performance, and you shift the other way and so he has this range, so they should think about it as Italian car manufacturers. They should make like the Giamatti.
Well, it's interesting because I did pick up on the Shatner-esque elements of the Vanya performance at that point. But is that saying that Shatner is soulless?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that. But I think he came up, with this.
Who's soulless and who's soulless?
Yeah,
We've got a list.
Checklist, right?
Yeah, this becomes a very strange territory for us to judge. But no, he's just very creative as an actor. He comes with, he proposes you a lot of things, and then you direct him, and he's very receptive to directions and to experiment things. But he's usually good in the first 3 takes. He's excellent. Then you can try to get different things. But he's a very immediate actor. He's in the moment, and he delivers very strong performance on the first, second, third take.
Well, as I understand it, Eric, your artist who created the machine actually had a design where it was even more vaginal than what turned out. Is that correct?
We wanted to feel like it was like a giant vagina swallowing Paul, and the plastic thing around is almost the cervix, and he gets swallowed into this. That's very Jungian. It's like he would get into absorbed by that vagina and then go back into the primordial state, and then he see himself as a newborn. So there are a lot of references that the Jungian will pick on. And other people would just not see them, but it's funny to play with those.
Yeah, it is kind of a giant womb, and he gets expelled, and he's a new person. He has his soul back.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Americans see it either as Jung or Bukowski, depending on where they are in their education.
Yeah, exactly.